Dr. Golub, thank you so much for being here on New Mexico in Focus.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, of course. Now, you're the director of all of Project ECHO's education initiatives. That's my understanding. What are some of those initiatives? And broadly, we'll get into more specifics, how do they help teachers teach students?
Oh, absolutely. So we work through all the way from early childhood through to higher ed, and we're working with teachers across areas such as social emotional learning, trauma-informed instruction, math, and my absolute favourite, literacy, which we hope we'll get a chance to talk more about. Project ECHO is a way of providing professional learning for teachers that supports them in taking evidence-based best practices and putting them into practice in their classrooms. So in a rural state like New Mexico, where everyone's so spread out, it's amazing to be able to bring teachers together from all corners of the state, both to learn from the experts here and also to learn from each other.
Okay, well, great. I do want to focus on literacy. One of the programs that we talked about briefly, the LETTERS program, that's been out for a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. But I understand that you are more on the side of implementing that program to teachers into the classroom, helping them do that. It's focused on the state's literacy crisis. Before we get into the program and how to implement it, why that word crisis? Yeah. What's going on in New Mexico?
Yeah. I mean, what's happening in New Mexico is actually similar to what's happening in a lot of places around the country. What we're seeing right now is the impact of a pendulum swing around how we teach literacy in this country, and in fact globally. This is happening elsewhere as well. But we've gone from way back in the day of Horace Mann, the person who first instigated public schools here in the US. He felt that whole language was the way that we should teach literacy, and this was the idea that reading is as natural to us as speaking. So the way that we support kids in reading is simply surround them with a lot of beautiful books, and magically they shall absorb the books, right? This is called the whole language approach. Sadly, as appealing as this is and as good as it feels to us, it's not how the majority of children learn. In fact, what they need is what we call the science of reading, or structured literacy, which is direct, explicit instruction in how to get words off the page, what we call decoding, and how to put them back again. How do you write the words? How do you spell things? And all of those pieces. Okay. And so in New Mexico, there was a move toward whole language that really has kind of caused a lot of problems around the state in terms of the literacy instruction. And now, it was 4 years ago, the governor started funding the LETTERS program, which is like a background knowledge program for teachers about structured literacy for all of our kindergarten through fifth grade teachers in the state. But it's a crisis because, only 1 in 3 children at third grade level can read proficiently right now. And reading at third grade is unbelievably crucial, because third grade is that point in school where you move from learning to read to reading to learn. So the kids no longer at third grade naturally get any reading instruction in classes. All of a sudden you have to read your math problems. Right. You have to read your science problems. You need to read your textbook. If you can't read, you can't do math. You can't do science. You can't do anything else, right? It is completely foundational. We also know that students that are not on track for reading by third grade are 4 times less likely to graduate from high school than their peers who can read on time at third grade. And our rates right now, on average, we're looking at around 1 in 3 is proficient, but if you look into some areas of our state, our Native American students, only 16% of them are reading on grade level at third grade. Okay. It's crazy bad.
Yeah. So what does this program, LETTERS, do to help teachers understand how to approach students, and how do you work with those teachers to help them implement what they've learned in the classroom?
Absolutely. So LETTERS is like the background knowledge program. So it basically teaches the teachers that science of what is it that kids need to learn and how do they need to learn it. So there's a strong focus on understanding kind of word and letter parts and how those word and letter parts relate together. So if you think about it, the sound of a word, hello. So I just made a whole bunch of sounds. How is it that the H sound actually connects to the H that we write on the page, right? Okay. What is going on there? This is what we call phonemic awareness. And students, about 35% of students, we think, will naturally just kind of learn to read really, really easily. But you'll notice that's only 35%, and that's actually a little higher than our number of proficient readers right now. The rest of our students need really explicit instructions in how this phonemic awareness works, how to do it in the classroom, and how to integrate that into what's a really, really complex job, right? So if an elementary teacher is in their classroom, 22 students the whole time. They have to do math, they have to do language, they have to do writing, they're doing all of the things. So this specific thing, you've got to do it so carefully and so well structured, and Letters is really providing a framework for how to do that. Letters, however, is a background knowledge program. It's what we hope teachers would actually learn in university before they go into the classroom. Okay. So we're kind of catching teachers up on their knowledge, but Letters, unfortunately, it's not a curriculum. It's not something that we can actually use to plan a lesson, say.
Okay. Are these programs working, and how do you measure that?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me back up a little bit and tell you what we're doing to sort of follow on from the Letters program,
please.
And then I'll tell you what we're seeing as a result of this. So what we're doing is we're taking those teachers who have already been trained in Letters, and we're supporting them through a year-long program where they meet virtually with us in a sort of a virtual, what we call a community of practice. So we bring a whole bunch of teachers together with experts in all sorts of teaching and reading, and they both learn the new practice, and then they crucially have this kind of opportunity to share with each other, like, this is what's happening in my classroom. I tried to do this. How did it go? What can I do better? And they're getting that real-time coaching and mentoring from the experts and also each other. Because one thing that we strongly believe at ECHO is that teachers are not in it for the money, and they're not in it for the fame, right? Any teacher who is there, their professional success is connected to how well their students do. So they are deeply, deeply motivated to do this. So those teachers are really hungry to find out, well, okay, in the Letters program, I've learned what I should be doing. And now in the ECHO Structured Literacy Classroom project that we're running, we're taking them by the hand and saying, okay, well, this is how we do it in the first week of school, and this is how we do it in the second week of school, and now this is the resource you should be using for this student that's a little bit behind. Here's this resource that you can be using for this kid that's a little bit ahead, and really making it work in that kind of complex way.
Yeah. Have you heard from teachers? Do they
Yes.
enjoy that opportunity, and has it been benefiting them, at least on an anecdotal level?
Absolutely. And yeah, measures of success. That was in your previous question as well. So we've got 2 levels of measures of success going on right now. From teachers, we're measuring both their, are they using the new strategies? And yes, very, very much so. Teachers are completely changing their literacy practices in their classroom as a result of participating in the program. And they're seeing amazing results. There's one teacher down in Alamogordo who at the beginning of the year had only 42% of her students reading on grade level. This was a second grade teacher. 5 months in, she was up to 77% of her students reading on grade level.
Incredible.
Another teacher down in Deming, all but one of her second graders was reading on grade level after 5 months of the program. Kindergarten teachers, they're seeing things like students who can't do anything are sort of writing letters, really connecting those sounds, really understanding all of that phonemic awareness by the end of kindergarten. First grade teachers, they've got students moving from writing part words and single words to like 3-sentence paragraphs by the end of the year. So yes, really strong results.
Great. Are there any plans to scale those anecdotal successes to pull that data together so that you have a clear picture of exactly how well the program is working?
Yes, and I'm grinning right now. I'm deeply excited. So this entire project was formed around this idea of doing this research at student level results. We are literally about to get the student level data from PED to start doing our background work to pull all of those numbers together. We are very, very confident from what we've been hearing from teachers that we'll be seeing a very strong signal in the data about the progress of these students.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do teachers get connected with you and the program? And is this something that can be spread across the state, if not mandatory, but something that's available to everyone if they would like to use it?
Currently, this year we're serving as many people as we can with the funding that we have. This year we had 260 teachers apply to the program, and we were able to serve 160 of them. So it's a good number, but it's not all of them. Sure. Yes, they can come to our website and come and sign up for the program. We enroll people at the end of the spring for the following year. Right now, the program is serving kindergarten through third grade teachers in 2 cohorts. We also have a parallel program which is serving a couple of whole schools here in APS and educational leaders.
So out of personal interest more than anything, once teachers get to this point and they have students in the classroom, they're trying to implement these things that you teach them, there's also a part on the front end in early childhood. What can parents do to prepare their children to work with teachers who are letters trained and build literacy early on?
Oh, absolutely. So we are naturally oral language creatures, right? The spoken word is our natural state. So when we think about reading and writing, I'm never going to be able to read something or write something that I can't speak out loud, that I can't take in when I'm hearing. So what we first concretely do in the first developmental phase that we see in young children is building that oral language. So it's talking to them. It's engaging with them. It's being present with them, not on your phone. It's looking them in the eye, saying the words, letting them mimic you, all of that piece. So number one, it's naming things, it's having conversations. It's this kind of great game. When you're in the grocery store, where's the eggplant? Is it purple? Can you see the onions? Can you count the onions? It's this engagement around naming and engaging with things in the world is like thing number one. And we can do that from the very, very littles all the way up. And then, of course, there's reading aloud. Reading aloud is very, very valuable. It sparks their interest. It gets them beginning to build those connections between the letter sounds and the words on the page. You can do the alphabet with them. That's really great as well. It's building those kind of foundational skills. But number one, engagement, right? Being present, looking them in the eye, talking to them, hearing them. Yeah.
Understood. Thank you so much, Dr. Golub. Thanks for being here on New Mexico in Focus.